Ladies and gentlemen, time now for a question and answer session. I believe we may have a roving microphone, Mohammed,
Yeah, I think, do we?
in the room somewhere, but while we locate it, I'll kick things off by asking our panel. There was a statistic recently I heard from the Canberra Rape Crisis Centre that their number of calls have gone up from 5,000 to 20,000 a year over the space of 5 years. Do you think that the incidence of domestic violence has increased in our communities, or is it something that people are just more willing to talk about and report?
Can I answer?
So I think there's two answers to that. One is it's a good thing that more women are reporting and putting up their hand and saying this is unacceptable and ringing a crisis service. But on the other hand, I also agree with Rosie Batty that we will have a short-term spike as men who have been very controlling and manipulative in their relationships suddenly start to experience their partner being more assertive and then responding with more aggression and more extreme forms of violence. I think the former is wonderful, that women are being more assertive and are putting their hand up, and I think that that's one of the spikes in the call rates. The other one, I don't have I think it's a dreadful situation, but I don't have any answers or clues.
Does anyone else?
I've just briefly, the points Martin made, but also that question raises for me the awareness that something's going on for men in our community and young men in particular. That the statistic about the highest killer of young men is suicide. You know, whatever's going on in our culture where men are using violence, there's got to be links about also young men are losing hope and killing themselves more often. So that makes, I think there's that question in my head about what might be contributing.
I would only add to that we need to look at the culture in which we are living in. Sexualization of female body has not gone down, it has actually gone up. Look at some of the recent reports from ANU or from UNSW, where women are still treated as bodies. So if somebody is upskirting or taking images of their cleavages and posting them, or posting the numbers that how many women they have banged or shared, still this is the culture in which our young people are living in. I don't think that the number of rape would go down, or it's a matter of reporting more. Yes, we are more conscious about it, but we are not dealing anything with the way that kind of culture is actually ingrained in youth's mind. And until we deal with that, we are only dealing with one aspect of it and not with it holistically.
Again, I think that, already we're saying that 1/3 of Australian women have experienced violence by somebody known to them, so it is a big issue. I think in terms of the way services are experiencing that, is that a range of factors. Also, the Royal Commission into Child Sexual Abuse has brought many people forward through organisations like Rape Crisis, and that abuse might have happened at any point in their lives, and they may just be at a point where they're ready to deal with that. And the same thing I think also does apply to family violence. I would say though, there are more organisations that are also standing up and saying it's unacceptable, and I'd recently point to the example of the ANU, who as a result of what was a very sexist and bad attitude amongst a group of men, young men, about how they were relating to their peers. These were not women that were anonymous or unknown to them. These were women that they were working with and socialising with every day, to have that sort of organised culture around objectification and sexualised violence, use of sexualised violence language. The fact that the ANU has stood up and strongly said that's unacceptable within the context of their university is a very good sign, and I think the reaction to that issue generally shows that more people are taking a stand, and that is about supporting people that do want to come forward as well.